Kelli Stewart here, giving you guys an update on Camp Liberty. I'll wait a minute for some people to come on, and then you guys can tell me if you can hear me okay, because I'm out here at a rest stop. So I wanted to give you guys an update on what's going on up at Camp Liberty. I know there's been some confusion today. Hey Jules, I did get a call back from the undersheriff, so I thought I'd give you guys a quick update on what's going on with that. So I'll do a quick recap of what happened today, because it's been a little bit confusing as to who owns what, but this is what the undersheriff just told me when he called me back. Well, first I'm sorry, I'll do a quick update. Hey guys, so the undersheriff called me back, and he said that earlier today he went out to Camp Liberty and he was telling the people there that that the private property that we're actually camping on, where the tents are, is on private property, and that private property owner has been getting lots of calls, and it is now because of that asking that we not camp there. Thank you, trolls. Congratulations. So he had said though for the easement, so the easement would be like half of the road, and then I don't know, X amount of feet into the private property would be a county easement. He's saying that this morning he was saying that in order to stay parked where everybody was parked, that they needed to get a permit from the county. So this was troubling to me, and I actually made a few calls to some awesome lawyers who work very closely with the ACLU, who said, I don't think so. The codes, the statutes that he was quoting do not apply to you guys for what you're doing. You're not blocking driveways, you're not blocking roads, and you're protesting, and that we were actually covered as far as the easement side goes. So I began pursuing how we could deal with that piece. Now I understood we needed to leave the private property now that private property owner was saying, okay, I don't want this, I don't want problems. I'm getting all these phone calls, you guys need to find a different place to camp. Okay, great, right? We're going to totally respect the private property rights. The problem was he was saying a permit had to be gained in order for us to park our cars or sit in chairs within the easements. So that's where we started going down the legal route of, you know, what do we need to do? Maybe we need to file some injunctions here. Maybe we need to make sure that the sheriff's department understands that they're being incredibly arbitrary over this, and that they don't have the right to tell us that we have to gain a permit to sit on the side of the road and protest. It doesn't work that way. So we started going down that route, and I did a post about it. And then I called the sheriff's department multiple times, could not reach any of, hey Gavin, couldn't reach any of the sheriffs. I couldn't reach any sergeants. I couldn't reach anybody on duty. And then finally received a call back from the undersheriff, who said he is the active sheriff at this time, or acting sheriff at this time. He said some interesting things to me. First, he's watching these live feeds. He let me know that. So hello, undersheriff. I'm going to go ahead and relay what we discussed to the public, because of course they have a right to know what's going on. So he said he was mistaken earlier when he told them that they had a right to be there. He said that they don't have a right to be even parked on the side of the road, because he says the county actually never was given an easement from the property owner to put the road in. So technically speaking, the property owner could actually block the road where traffic is and say, you don't have a right to be here, this is my private property. I made it very clear to him that that's absolutely ludicrous to think that the county would come in and pave roads on people's private property without gaining permission through a legal easement to do so, because what that essentially means is that every time we drive down this road in front of the jail, that we're trespassing. So he says that is true, though. That's what's happening, and he gave me the phone number of a man he wanted me to call and get some more details on it. He said I can't answer any questions about easements or right-of-ways or any of that. Of course, he could this morning when he went out to tell the people to leave, but now he can't, as I'm questioning him on the authenticity of what he's telling me. So then the conversation continued, and he wanted me to understand how many death threats that he's received since this camp out began. And the interesting thing about what he was sharing is that he was so focused on his narrative that he couldn't even grasp where we might be coming from. And it was very clear to me right off the bat that this is like an us against them thing in their mind when we're out there protesting a private facility, a private jail. So if they're not somehow in bed with this private facility, I'm not sure why they would be taking sides as the sheriff's department and be assuming that this is an us against them when they're supposed to be the neutral party. They're supposed to be the one who responds to either calls, right? Either side of the road that would call in complaints. But it became very clear to me that that's not where this sheriff's department is coming from. He said he's received over 100 death threats and that he has recorded them all. I assured him that nobody in any circle I'm running with is making death threats, and that this is a big, big world, and when people learn that somebody is being abused and their sheriff is not doing anything about it, maybe they get upset. Maybe they're making death threats. That's none of my business. I'm not going to go around policing the world telling them what they can and can't say. And I can only control myself and what I say and what the people in my immediate circle on my team would be doing. So as I assured him that I would not support that, he pointed out to me that the death threats are actually coming from my page, is what he told me. He said, Kelli, the death threats and the request for an armed standoff is coming through your page. Okay, so maybe somebody's created a troll page or something in my name and they're saying things that I have no idea about. But I made it very clear to him that what he was saying to me was not truth, that there are not threats coming through my page. In fact, some people have tried to criticize me because I did ask that this would be an unarmed protest. And I know some people didn't like that I presented that multiple times, but I have the right to request that of people. I also told him, though, that this was Nevada, and I said, a lot of people in your state carry because it's their constitutionally protected right to do so. So I said, I've actually done my part to go the other route with it because I believe that that all we really need to do is bring attention to the abuses that are happening, and that's going to do far more than any... Would you get out of here? You're such a dork. We're trying to get back on the road, but it's taking forever. Between all the kids and multiple cars and multiple families, we're not getting very far, it seems, these days. But anyway, now I just totally threw off my train of thought. Okay, so I told him that this was a peaceful protest and that we're trying to bring attention to the abuses happening in the prison, that I don't see any reason for us to be armed. And he said that his officers have been very intimidated by us being there. And what was so interesting about that is that he couldn't even wrap his head around how we feel when his officers have shown up, because we're there protesting the abuses going on in the jail. We're actually calling out to the sheriff to come help and to come stand with us. But from his perspective, his officers are the ones who are intimidated. And I asked him, I said, do you understand at all that your officers can shoot me at any time? That I'm unarmed and I've called for an unarmed protest, but that they can shoot me at any time. And he said, my officers in Nye County, they've told you they can shoot you at any time. And I said, sir, if I reach for my chapstick in their presence because of the false narrative that you are feeding them about who I am, they absolutely can shoot me at any time, even in the back, and they will be justified in the public's eyes. But you want to talk to me about the 100 death threats, possibly empty death threats you've received, and you care nothing about how we feel when you guys come in with your lights on to say that we were stepping on private property. The disconnect is so big because they truly believe that they have the right to do anything they want to do, but we don't even have the right to protest without feeling threatened and intimidated. I'm not calling them out to our camp. I'm not saying you guys need to come and duke this out with us. We're just out there pointing the finger at a private facility saying that facility right there is profiting. It's a human warehouse. They're beating people up. They're torturing them. They're leaving them overnight, handcuffed in shower stalls, stripping them naked and leaving them in solitary confinement for over 40 days, which is cruel and unusual punishment. I said, we're just out here bringing attention to that, but your officers are afraid of us. Your officers don't need to come around here. They don't need to come out and respond to these ridiculous calls of somebody's trespassing. And the other side note is they want to come out and protect this property owner, right? Who says now that he doesn't want us camping on the property. But as soon as that property owner erects something on his property that he didn't gain the proper permits for, or has a camp out and he doesn't gain the permits for an event, then all of a sudden the police are there again barking at him, telling him he's in violation of city code. So this really isn't about them trying to protect the property owner right now. If they were trying to protect the property owner, they would be in the jails right now trying to figure out how to protect Ammon Bundy and the property of his body and his life. So for them to show up and say, well, this property owner wants us to tell you to leave, we have to do it. But we're not going to go into the private facility and find out how they're abusing people in our county, because that's none of our business. You guys have to understand that the reason they're afraid of us is because they know that they are in bed with this private facility. They know they are overlooking abuses of the American people that are happening, and they don't care. That's why they're on the defense. That's why when they show up with their hands on their guns and their lights and their sirens going. It is not because a mom is standing outside with an American flag that says stop prison abuse. Okay, that's not what's scaring them. Their own actions and their own lack of actions is what is scaring them. Has nothing to do with us being there. So just to wrap this up, we've got multiple invitations to camp on other properties around. And so we're going to be getting the camp moved by tomorrow before 1 o'clock. He said he would not grant us any more time to be at the camp that we're on right now, which is fine. We're actually going to be moving to a much better spot, better location, better sound. We'll be able to get through to the guys. So that's great. Their little plan didn't work. And then just to reiterate what I had already said to the officer on the line, we do not want any violence. And if you're on this live feed and you do, find another place. Stay away from me. That's not what we're trying to do. And what we're exposing is so much more important than Brand, I'm gonna have to block you, to be honest, because some of your posts are what they're referring to, and I just don't have time for it. So sorry, buddy. I love you. Take your stand another place, though, because what we're doing out there is trying to expose abuse. We're not trying to have a standoff. Anyway, so just to reiterate that, what I'm trying to host has nothing to do with violence. You don't even have to be armed. In fact, being armed will likely get you shot. So I would highly recommend not being armed. It's your Constitution protected right. So obviously you have to do what you feel is important on that. But that's just something in this location with the message we're trying to deliver. It really distorts the message. It doesn't help the message in this point in time. So I'm not saying it's not ever appropriate. I'm simply saying in this point in time, I don't find it to be appropriate. But if you guys see any comments that I need to know about, please tag me in them. I'm not checking most of my page. I'm not checking updates and comments and whatnot. But anyway, just keep on keeping on. We'll get camp moved. Please come out to the prison. Protest with us. We're having fun. People are great that are showing up. There's lots of families coming. And now we'll be back on private property, so we'll have a little bit more control over the situation. And yeah, it should be great. So that's all. Show up. It's cold out here, so I'm gonna get back on the road, but love you guys. And I don't have any more updates. Let's see. Ammon and Ryan are still in solitary confinement. Some of the guys support what they're doing in there. Some of the guys don't. Doesn't matter. Everybody's independent and can do and you know, exercise their rights how they feel they need to do it, how they feel they need to protest inside that facility. So we stand with them and we stand in support of them, and we want the abuse to stop. I think that's all. Okay, love you guys. God bless.